I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. I am sovereign. I am man. The flesh lives. The blood flows. I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case.
That would be denied.
Along with the officer and sergeant who are already going to be getting sued. There's no need to add you as well.
Any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that. So
it's not a threat. It's just what it is.
Today, we've got one of the wildest sovereign citizen courtroom performances you'll ever see. The guy walks in, chest puffed out, like he's some kind of revolutionary hero. He starts off declaring,
Have a seat, please. His rights at arraignment.
My honor. So, for the record, I've made this special visitation under duress pertaining to the matters of Jonathan Troy, Faifuleas HUMILIATES Schuster. For I am beneficiary, I am sovereign, I am man. The flesh lives, the blood flows. I am a non-U.S. citizen, American national. I am sui juris in propria persona. I reserve all rights. I do not understand the status. And so I ask you, ma'am, what is your name? What is your nationality? And what is your status?
I'm Judge Grant. I am a citizen and I'm the judge in this court. You are here subject to appropriate jurisdiction. So you are here for an arraignment. You've been charged with a crime. Today, you will be asked to enter a plea.
Ma'am, I object because a citizen cannot sit a bench, ma'am.
So I'm going to go through the information. It looks like you have been charged with driving with a suspended license, driving without a required ignition interlock device, refusal to comply, not having proper registration on the vehicle, expired over 2 months. And then there was also a driving violation. Wheels were off the roadway. Last two are infractions. So,
ma'am, jurisdiction cannot be proven unless status is established. You have not established status. And so if you cannot do that, I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case with prejudice.
That would be denied. So I am going to, at this time, review for probable cause.
Object. Again, I challenge the jurisdiction, and jurisdiction must be proven.
It's not going to happen today.
Jurisdiction must be proven.
To hear the charges, and I will be reviewing for probable cause, and then we'll make a determination as to whether or not you will remain in custody. And I will hear from the prosecutor as to that.
And if you violate my rights even further, ma'am, as well as the officer and the sergeant that violated my rights, who are also going to be getting sued, it would just add to that. And I don't think that you need to go that route.
While I review this incident report. All right, I do find probable cause with the charges. I will be entering not guilty, please.
Ma'am, you cannot practice law from the bench. I object.
Noted.
You cannot enter a plea for somebody. That is, practicing bench from the law.
Unless you want to enter a plea of guilty, today there'll be a plea of not guilty. Understand you are objecting.
Ma'am, I object. I challenge the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction has not been proven.
Stand on my 2 feet. I'm a proper person. I am sovereign. I am man. The flesh lives. The blood flows. Yes, yes. We get it, buddy. You're alive. Congratulations. But hold on to your hats because
status has not been proven or established. And once again, you haven't even established, your nationality or your status. I am a non-U.S. citizen, American national by way of America Samoa. I reserve all my rights.
Is this something that we need to consider a competency evaluation for?
We may need to consider ordering ability to proceed, but it looks like you have a driver's license that recently expired.
To question my competency because I'm establishing status and asking you to prove jurisdiction is outrageous. And so, again, if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this with prejudice based on the grounds that you cannot prove jurisdiction.
All right, I've reviewed this. You were driving in the city of Lake Forest Park. You were violating
again.
laws.
I was not driving. Again, I was I have rights.
You were
And
behind.
my rights were violated.
Traveling.
My rights were violated. My right to travel freely unencumbered was violated. There was no emergency in which the officer needed to put on his red and blue lights. And so, again, if status cannot be set, jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
That's denied. So you've made your record. Right now, I'm going to directly appoint counsel from the bench. Ms. McDonald.
Again, I am
you.
sui juris in propria persona. I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. And so I reserve all my rights.
I understand that, and I've acknowledged that. I'm not dismissing your case today. I'm going to hear from Ms. McDonald as to the city's position on release.
Yes, Your Honor, I am going to be asking that the bail remain the same. It looks like it's currently set at $2,000. I do have some concern regarding his willingness and ability to reappear if he was released on his own recognizance, as well as concerned about community safety and risk of reoffending, given his temperament in the court today.
And Your Honor, Mr. Schuster would ask the court to release him on his own recognizance. These are not violent offenses. I don't see that he has any convictions for violent offenses. There was an assault from 2021 that was dismissed. He may have a view of the law that is different than the city's, but that in itself does not indicate that he won't come to court or that he would in any way try to subvert court proceedings. So we'd ask the court to release him on standard conditions.
Well, the court can consider whether or not Mr. Schuster is likely to reappear for future court hearings. What I hear from him today is that he completely objects to this court having any jurisdiction. I don't have a good faith basis that Mr. Schuster will return if I were to release him.
Gets better. He actually threatens to sue the judge if things don't go his way. I mean, that's a hard no in any court, and yet here he is, grinning like he's about to unlock the secrets of the universe. From the start?
I do see that he has a prior conviction for DUI. He's on a deferred prosecution at this time in Seattle Municipal Court. He's not complying with conditions if he's driving without a license and driving without a required ignition interlock device. Also indication that Mr. Schuster will not abide the court's orders to appear on his promise. Want to look at the Seattle Municipal case and see when he's next scheduled to appear.
Like you had mentioned too, in 2021, same situation, or not same situation, a situation occurred in which they tried to charge me. They didn't have jurisdiction. It was dismissed. And again, I don't want any charges against me because I do have the deferral, which would obviously violate that deferral. And so I will make any visitations, special visitations to the court to handle any matters pertaining to Jonathan Troy Faifale Somaliatoa Schuster. I'm a man, I'm free, and I want it to stay that way.
I do see it looks like he's got at least 3 prior warrants. He has 2 priors out of Benton County, 1 out of Lower Kittitas. The previous warrants history.
And throughout this process of going to courts, I've had to learn a lot. And so I know it's no game to just not show and make visitations. That's not what I want to do. And again, jurisdiction does need to be proven, whether it's today or another date. And if you want to violate my rights even further by not releasing me on my own recognizance, ma'am, was it Jennifer Grant? Then, like I had mentioned earlier, you, along with the officer and sergeant, who are already going to be getting sued, I mean, there's no need to add you as well, especially when you know the law.
I
I
do
don't
not.
see another, I
And
don't see another date set until February 12th of 2025 in the Seattle
In
case.
Seattle Municipal Court.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Schuster, I have to do what I believe is appropriate in this case, and that is to set bail, and any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that. So
Well, it's
you
not
can
a
do what-
threat. It's just what it is.
It's chaos. He keeps rambling about his status, his nationality, his rights, insisting that unless jurisdiction can be proven, this whole case must be dismissed.
My rights
can-
have been
you
violated,
can
and
do
if my
what you
rights
need
are going to
do,
be
but
furthermore
you can set
violated,
bail at $2,000. I do not believe that you will respond to the court's order to come back. I do base that upon the conduct in this case as well as the prior FTA history. So bail will be $2,000. If you're able to post bail, you are to return for your next court date. You are to have no criminal law violations. You're not to drive unless you have a valid license and insurance. And
when are you setting that court date,
device
miss?
is required by the Department of Licensing. You will be represented because I'm going to assign counsel.
I am sui juris in propria persona. I present myself. I don't need to be represented by anybody. I stand on my own 2 feet.
These are criminal charges that have significant consequences for you. So it's in your best interest to have counsel.
Again, I
assist
stand
you.
on my own 2 feet. I do not need to be represented by anybody. I present myself, sui juris in propria persona.
Well, if you want to be your own counsel, you'll have to go through a full colloquy and waive all your rights to have representation. It's your constitutional right.
I
if
do
you
not
would-
accept being represented by anybody. Again, I present myself. I am beneficiary. I am sovereign. I am an American national, a non-US citizen American national by way of America Samoa, like I had mentioned earlier. I reserve my rights, and I do not need to be represented by anybody.
All right, the time for trial expiration is 8/9/24.
Again, if you are practicing law from the bench and putting a plea in for me, I object to that. You cannot practice law from the bench.
Next court date will be,
We want to try for next Wednesday or even the week after that.
well, next Wednesday's a holiday, so the 18th, which is pretty full. So I was going to set this on June 24th. That's 2 weeks out.
So for the record, you have not established status, you have not proven jurisdiction, and you're denying my rights. Is that correct?
I don't know what you think would establish my status, but I do have status to sit in this court.
You
and
are a
hear
US
these
citizen. A US citizen cannot sit a bench.
Sign for your next court date.
You're asking me to sign something that you pleaded for me. Is
Yes,
that
I'm
correct?
giving you notice of the conditions that I have set as well as bail.
You said,
I'm
yes,
noting
you
that I
pleaded for
found
me?
Probable cause. If you are able to post that bail and get out of custody, those are my expectations that you will come back on that court date and that you will abide by the conditions that I have imposed. Those are being ordered today. So that is what's happening today. And we are giving you that notice. You can refuse to sign that notice and we'll note that you were provided a copy in writing and that you refused to sign.
I do not understand.
Which part of
How-
it do you not understand that you have a
I
piece
do
of
not
paper
understand how
with
you can
the
practice
document?
law from the bench.
I'm the judge and I am setting the conditions.
Well, you also entered a plea for me, correct?
What we're doing at arraignment is the plea is being entered. You're not pleading guilty. So on your behalf, I'm entering a not guilty plea.
So, correct, you
cannot-
are pleading for me,
There's
correct?
2 pleas.
And if you
not
plead
guilty
for me,
or
you're
guilty.
practicing law from the bench. You cannot practice law from the bench, so I object.
Right.
That-
I'm
You're,
going to give you that piece of paper and we're done with your hearing today. We will see you in 2 weeks. Okay? All right.
Jennifer Grant, you will be
Okay.
taken further.
And he's serious. absolutely serious. The judge calmly but firmly tries to explain he's charged with driving with a suspended license, refusing to comply with ignition interlock rules, expired registration, and other traffic violations. He counters with a wall of legal gibberish about being a non-citizen American national, sui juris, propria persona, and I swear, if you blinked, you'd miss the part where logic actually left the room. At one point, the judge tries to walk him through the arraignment and the plea, and he objects to everything. She even tries to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf to keep things moving. And he flips out, claiming she's practicing law from the bench. Meanwhile, he's sitting in handcuffs, striped jumpsuit and all, throwing around legal terms he clearly doesn't understand. It's like watching someone binge-watch conspiracy videos on YouTube and then show up in court thinking they're a constitutional scholar. He's indignant, dramatic, and utterly convinced the entire justice system is out to get him. The tension ramps up when bail and release conditions are discussed. The prosecutor points out his refusal to comply with previous court conditions, his prior convictions, and his repeated failure to appear for hearings. Our sovereign citizen hero responds by doubling down on his rights, claiming any officer or judge trying to enforce the law against him is subject to a lawsuit. You could almost hear the judge sigh through the camera. She's calm, collected, but internally, I guarantee she's thinking, "You've got to be kidding me." And honestly, you'd be tempted to laugh if it weren't so painful to watch someone dig themselves into a deeper legal hole every second. Even when the judge explains the conditions for bail, the expectations, and what will happen if he violates them, he refuses to sign or acknowledge the rules. He stands firm on his sovereign status, insisting he doesn't need a lawyer and that he alone represents himself. He's completely disconnected from reality, convinced that his clever recitations of rights and jurisdictional challenges will somehow make him untouchable. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, not even a little. As the hearing presses on, it becomes painfully clear that this guy has zero intention of playing by the rules. Bail is set at $2,000, but you can tell the judge doesn't expect him to come back on his own. His attitude screams repeat offender. He's the kind of guy who would commit the same infractions over and over and treat every court appearance like a minor inconvenience. The prosecutor is cautiously optimistic, noting that these aren't violent offenses, but she's also worried about his willingness to return and his blatant disregard for the law. And honestly, you can see why. He's already threatened the judge and every officer involved with lawsuits, like the court is just supposed to bow down to his sovereign status. He keeps repeating the same mantra. He's sui juris, a proper person, an American national not under U.S. jurisdiction. He insists he doesn't need a lawyer and that anyone trying to represent him is violating his rights. The judge, professional and steady, patiently explains that he's not above the law and that practicing law from the bench isn't allowed, even if he thinks it's clever. She goes step by step, outlining bail conditions, expectations for his next court date, and what he must comply with to avoid further trouble. He refuses to acknowledge any of it, pretending that the court's authority somehow doesn't apply to him. And then comes the real spectacle. He objects to every single procedural move, citing his rights and his inability to recognize the court's jurisdiction. It's almost performance art at this point. His arguments are circular, inconsistent, and frankly, exhausting to follow. But what's striking is how he fully believes he's outsmarting the system, like every recitation of legalese is some kind of secret weapon. Meanwhile, the judge calmly documents his defiance, sets future court dates, and ensures the record reflects his non-compliance. She's playing it smart, letting him dig his own hole while maintaining control of the courtroom. By the end of the hearing, it's painfully clear. This man is his own worst enemy. He tried to challenge jurisdiction, threaten the judge, and refuse representation, all while ignoring previous convictions and court orders. But the law doesn't bend for theatrics, no matter how passionate or dramatic they are. Bail is set, conditions are outlined, and he leaves the courtroom with nothing but a long list of expectations he's already set himself up to violate. Watching this unfold is both absurd and frustrating. You want to shake him and say, "It's not about your YouTube law degree, it's about reality." Yet somehow the judge manages to keep the session under control, letting his own words reveal exactly how much trouble he's in. So here's the takeaway. No matter how clever or confident a sovereign citizen thinks they are, the law doesn't care about your declarations or your threats. You can claim rights and cite obscure legal concepts all day, but in the end, reality and the judge wins. This guy might think he's untouchable, but the court system is relentless, and every single one of his antics has only cemented his position as a repeat offender. Honestly, watching this chaos is equal parts entertaining and maddening, like watching a self-made legal disaster unfold live right before your eyes.